In today's day and age, there are so many different ways to go about making money and actually making a lot of it. Whether you're wanting to start a business, whether you want to have a side gig, whether you want to make just some extra income, whatever the case is, there is ultimately a solution for you and what you're looking for. But with so many different options to turn to and so many different avenues to explore, it can be really hard to figure out what paths are worth going down and which ones should be avoided at all costs. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the top 5 side gigs that you need to avoid and that you should not waste your time with. These are side gigs that can waste your time, waste your money, and can overall just take up unnecessary space in your life, and they won't make you more money in the process. So let's get started. So let's just dig right into it. So these are not in any specific order. I don't necessarily think that one of these are worse than the others. I just think that all of them, for the most part, should be avoided. Now, with that being said, I'm not saying that you can't be successful with these side gigs. I'm saying that more often than not, the people that try these side gigs are not successful with them for one reason or another. And I'll explain my thought process in this video. So if you know of somebody who partakes in these side gigs, or if you partake in them yourself and you've been able to be successful with it, then that's great and I'm happy for you. But in my experience and from the research I've done and from who I've talked to, more often than not, people fail with the side gigs I'm going to be talking about in this video. So the first one that I have to talk about is something that so many people on the internet know about. And if you've spent any time researching side gigs or how to make extra money, you've probably run into this side gig. And that is dropshipping. Now, for those of you who don't know, dropshipping is the process of basically creating an online store and an online website, selling consumers products from that website, but they're products that you actually don't own. For example, let's say that I set up a dropshipping website that sells socks. My website sells socks, that's all I sell, and people go onto my website to buy some cool socks. Let's say that you buy one of my socks. If my store is a dropshipping store, then I actually don't have that sock in my possession. Instead, whenever you buy that sock, I then head on over to AliExpress, which is a website that connects consumers with factories in China and all over the world. I then go buy that sock from AliExpress and then that gets shipped to you. I actually never have any contact with the sock. I didn't make the sock. I didn't produce the sock. I simply am the middleman. Now, this is a business model that so many people have taken part in. A lot of companies started off as dropshipping and then ultimately became a successful business. For example, the popular watch brand Movement actually got their start dropshipping watches and then ended up becoming a real watch brand producing their own watches. So you have found successful business models and successful companies that have come out of dropshipping. But the problem is that in today's day and age, dropshipping is so oversaturated because there's so many gurus online claiming that you can become a multi-millionaire doing this business model. You see Facebook ads or YouTube ads of people, driving a Lamborghini or on vacation in some exotic location, and they accredit their success to dropshipping and they claim that anybody can do it. All you need is a laptop, all you need is AliExpress, all you need is X, Y, and Z, and you too can drive in a Lamborghini Huracan. But the fact of the matter is it's simply not that easy. And in fact, whenever you see successful dropshippers, you often see them only last a couple of years and then they exit the industry as a whole because it's so hard to create long-term success with this business model. For example, there's a guy named Jared Goetz, and I could be pronouncing his last name incorrectly, but he became really well known because he had the second largest growing Shopify store in the world at the time. It was number 2, only behind Kylie Jenner and Kylie Cosmetics. And that Shopify store was called Gadget Snob, and it was one of the biggest Shopify stores at the time, not only dropshipping, but just Shopify in general. It was a huge store grossing millions and millions of dollars a year, and if you go try to find Gadget Snob today in 2020, you can't find it anywhere. In fact, Jared Goetz very rarely talks about Gadget Snob as a whole. And the reason is because he probably wasn't able to keep the business model afloat, given the fact that dropshipping is a competitive business, it has very low margins. He probably made his money and then exited, and good for him. I applaud that strategy. But you see it all the time, these people that are touting these business models that make them millions of dollars, but they simply are not sustainable. In addition to that, I had the privilege of working with somebody who had a dropshipping store that was doing hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. Like, I'm saying he was doing 6 figures consistently every single month, multiple seven figures per year. And after about a year and a half doing dropshipping, he shut down his store. And the reason is because though he was grossing huge amounts of money, he was not making any profit. So imagine having a business where you're dedicating 80 hours per week, you're grossing millions of dollars a year, and yet you don't make a profit. The other thing I want to note about dropshipping is I actually created a video about 6 or 7 months ago with the idea of starting a dropshipping store and then tracking the progress on this YouTube channel. And COVID-19 hit and kind of blew those plans out of the water. That's an important thing to keep in mind with dropshipping, is because of the fact that with dropshipping, so many of your products are coming from China and then they're being delivered to the United States, there is a lot that's out of your control. Quality is out of your control. Shipping times are out of your control. There's things like prices that are out of your control. And a lot can affect those things, whether it be COVID-19, whether it be tariffs or trade wars, whether it be government issues. There's just so many factors that are out of your control whenever you partake in dropshipping. And for you to dedicate time, money, and energy to a business that you hope to scale into a either real side business or real business, you want to make sure that you can control almost every aspect of that business. And with dropshipping, it simply is not possible. For that reason, and for the reason I've talked about, I think that dropshipping is a side gig that you can have success with, but for the most part, I would avoid it going into 2021. Next is blogging. Now, if you look online how to start a side business or side gigs for 2021 or side gigs for 2020, you will almost inevitably come up with the point of start a blog, and that can be your side gig. And though blogs can be super lucrative, and I think that a blog is a really good business idea as a whole, blogs are tough because it's tough to drive traffic to them. And it takes a really long time to get to the point where you are actually able to treat it like a side gig where it actually makes you money. In today's day and age, blogs are so competitive, and it's really difficult to get a blog up and going if you don't already have some sort of social presence, whether it be a podcast, a Facebook page, an Instagram, a YouTube channel. If you don't have those outlets to drive traffic to your blog, it can be really hard to, grow that blog and to drive traffic to the blog and to thus make money from the blog. The way that blogs oftentimes make money are one of two ways, either through brand deals and like sponsored posts or through AdSense and Google AdSense, which is clicking on ads that are embedded within the blog. And with both of those things, you need to have a built-in audience in order to take advantage of those revenue streams. And it's just very hard to drive traffic to a brand new blog. Rather than going the blog route for a side gig in 2021, I would instead encourage you to explore YouTube or to explore starting a YouTube page or starting a podcast. I think that those three avenues are much more lucrative than just starting a standalone blog. And once you have a following on one of those three platforms, you can then spin off and start a blog that you can then drive traffic to more easily. So I do think that a blog is a great business, but I don't know if it's a great side business. And I think it's more of a great turn to make once you already have an established audience. Next is flipping cars. Now, this is something that has been around forever, long before the internet. And the reason why I think that flipping cars is a bad side hustle in 2021 is because the used car market is quickly going to be oversaturated. The reason is because as COVID-19 has swept the entire world and has caused chaos all over the United States, rental companies are dying. They are absolutely getting murdered. And Hertz, for example, has filed for bankruptcy, and a lot of other big rental companies like Avis and Enterprise are liquidating some of their fleets. As a result, these cars have to go somewhere, and the answer is that they're going to go into consumers' hands. So the used car market is expected to really get flooded with used cars, and thus the value of those cars are going to go down. Because of that, I think that right now, flipping used cars for profits is a tough side gig to take part in. There is just so many options to choose from, and soon whenever companies like Hertz start liquidating their fleet officially, there will just be too many cars to choose from and not enough consumers to buy them. So I think that this exact sentiment is going to be exasperated whenever the used car market gets flooded. If the economy continues to be in a tough spot, it's going to be harder and harder to sell these used cars. And because of that reason, I think that right now, flipping used cars for profit is not a good side business to pursue. Instead, I would encourage you to wait until the dust settles, until the economy picks back up, until the bankruptcy of Hertz is a little bit more behind us, and then I would look at pursuing this option. Next is multi-level marketing schemes. Now, this is the end-all be-all of side hustles to avoid, and it's something that I hear all the time, and I'm sure you do as well. Multi-level marketing schemes, or MLMs, are basically pyramid schemes, and these exist in broad daylight and we see them all the time. They're just oftentimes not referred to as pyramid schemes and are instead referred to as multi-level marketing. Now, I'm not dogging on MLMs, and I do think that some people find success with them and some people find joy from it. But my problem with multi-level marketing is the fact that whenever you are with a multi-level marketing company, they tout this luxurious lifestyle, they tout these high earnings, they really tout this huge level of success. But the fact of the matter is, the people who are becoming successful off MLMs are only the people at the very top of the pyramid. The other problem I have with MLMs is that so often MLM companies target women, and they target women that are either stay-at-home moms, who have kids, who have shifted their careers, or maybe they are looking for a career alternative. I think that MLMs are inherently a bit predatory towards women, and they go after these women that are looking for a sense of purpose. And because of that, these women get sucked into this idea that they can be their own boss, they'll have their own company, they'll have their own small business, and they can create their own destiny in the process. But the fact of the matter is, that's not the reality of the situation. It's just the reality that they're being sold. So not only do I think that MLMs are not a realistic way to make good money consistently, I also think that it's a business model that has predatory behavior, and I think it is a unethical business model to pursue. At least I know for me, I could never pursue that. Now, there are dozens, if not hundreds of ways to make money, and there are so many options to choose from when it comes to side gigs. And though I know that all of the options that I've talked about in this video are real ways that you can make money, I believe that there are better ways that exist out there. Ways that cost less to get involved in, ways that are more ethical, ways that have more profit margin, and ways that can allow you to truly own your side gig rather than just be a slave to the pyramid scheme. I think that all in all, there are so many good options to choose from that these are options that I would definitely recommend avoiding because they just simply are not worth your time, energy, or your money. But I would love to hear your thoughts on what you think of these side gigs that I've talked about today. Do you think that they should be avoided? Do you think that I'm being overly harsh? I would love to hear your thoughts, so make sure to leave a comment down below. And while you guys are at it, make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell. I would greatly appreciate it. Doing all of these things really helps my channel grow. It helps me get recognized by the YouTube algorithm, and I would greatly appreciate if you could do that if you enjoy the content. But like always, you guys, I will see you guys in the next video.